It's time to go beyond plus ultra for a Boku no Hero Academia review.
We are here. We are alive, if only barely. Perhaps even using our tongues as whips to bring ourselves to you.
That is still just a little bit strange.
You're the one that called it.
I know. But I still find it strange that, like, Black Whip floppy style.
It again, I'm not ruling it out because this is based on comic book logic. This feels like ridiculous comic book logic.
I agree with you there.
That's why I didn't say to you when you first suggested it that I don't think it'll ever happen. I was not opposed to it happening.
Okay. This episode was like a lot of flashback in the beginning.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of flashback. A lot of just, yeah, remember, these are the stakes. This is the shit that went down. As if you haven't been watching this entire time if you're at this point.
Yeah, because what? We're like 12 episodes through the season now.
Yep. Speaking of which, still the same intro, so the new one is probably next episode.
If you saw at the end of the preview, they showed the new outro.
I did not see that because my video cut off at the end of the preview.
Oh, so you did listen during the preview and the music for the preview sounded different?
Oh, that part? I didn't even take notice. I was too busy watching what was being said
Okay.
and the visual.
Because it said, like, second core outro, whatever the title is.
Nope, didn't catch it.
I'll need to listen to it without Deku's narration over it, but to me, it sounds a little bit more of an intro, but then again, I just heard like 15-20 seconds of it.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, this starts off with Compress basically being like, this can't be the end of me, just the way we ended the last episode.
Yeah,
And we cut to flashbacks!
woohoo! With the the creature reject clan.
Which apparently is kind of the opposite of what Stain wants, I guess. It's basically like anti-mutant purists that you would see out of something like, oh, I don't know, X-Men.
But one thing I found interesting, and they said, like, we're the creature reject clan. They said, like, creature reject clan in Japanese, then they said CRC. And I'm just like, no, if you're called creature rejection clan, and then you use your Japanese name, shouldn't it be whatever thing
I
is?
don't think that works with katakana or kanji. Because kanji is more syllable based, whereas we are letter based over here in the West. I don't think it would work out the same way.
So just call yourself, like, since they are the Ego High Seki Soji Shudan, just call yourself the IHSS. If you're going for
Again, I just don't think it pans out that well in kanji, and I think that's why they don't. I think it's just because of the drastically different makeup of the alphabets in the languages. It just doesn't translate.
So then, instead of saying that, call yourself the Creature Rejection Clan in English. I don't know.
I mean, the problem is, one, we don't know how this is the first introduction of this group. We don't know how expansive it is. It might be international. I don't know. We have no idea.
Yeah.
So in that case, they might use both names. Who knows? If it's just Japanese based, then, I mean, calling yourself that entire name is longer than just saying it in your native tongue, right?
I guess.
I think it's a weird thing with language and how things pan out that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've also noticed this in the flashback, and I don't think I've noticed this until this point. Compress has different masks at different points.
Yes, and I did not realize that either.
I hadn't realized it until these flashbacks. I'm like, wait a minute, has his mask been changing this entire series? And I've just never noticed?
Don't worry, I haven't noticed it either.
Because, like, during this first flashback, he has almost like
Pure
a
white?
hashtag. No, not this one. This one's
Oh,
almost
okay.
a hashtag look on his mask.
Huh.
When we get to the point where Spinner and Shigaraki are arguing with each other, or I guess when Spinner's yelling at Shigaraki, really, that's when he has a pure white mask.
Okay.
But yeah, Compress is here. He's all like, oh yeah, CRC, we're out of money. We need more money. So we're going to steal shit. And then they just ice the entire group.
Is any of this stuff expensive? And he's just like fiddling with some stuff along the mantle place.
Which I can't even tell what that's supposed to be. Are they like fake Oscars? What are they?
I thought they were just little knickknacks.
I don't know. They're all like people figurines almost. And I don't know. Are they gold? Are they just clay? I can't tell.
What are
Also,
they?
why are they just sitting there?
Well,
just on a random like thing that doesn't even look like a piece of furniture. It kind of looks like a piece of the wall jutting out almost. Like it's literally the same shape, shade, and like design as the wall.
Yeah. And then we have them hanging out at the CRC headquarters, and Dobby comes by and says, like, hey, what are you doing here?
He's like, oh, you guys are already here? Guess I was the only one out trying to recruit people. And they're like, you never fucking recruit people.
You only kill them.
You either burn or kill people. It's like, that's because you're not looking in the right places. It's like, well, clearly, Dobby, neither are you, because you never bring anyone back that's worthwhile. Actually, you never bring anyone back, let alone anyone that's worthwhile. But yes, this is when Spinner's like, Shigaraki, what the fuck are we doing? We're sitting here, wandering around, we're poor as shit. What the fuck are the point of us right now?
Hey, Stain was trying to make a difference.
That's why I came here. I wanted to be like Stain. Which, you know, Toga kind of did too. I'm not sure about anyone else, because Compress is kind of following his own background to a degree, but why he decided Shigaraki was the one to hitch himself to, I'm not quite sure. And then, of course, there's Twice, who's like, I forget if he was actually inspired by Stain or if he was just trying to find a place where he felt he belonged, which ended up being here.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have that argument go down. We don't really get an answer. Also, I just realized we had a flashback within a flashback. We're getting flashbackception in here.
I thought that was after they beat up the CRC. They took over the CRC area.
Don't think that's where they are in this scene, though.
Oh.
They're in a different place, I think. Because this looks like a little mini apartment building. Like apartment somewhere.
So, flashback?
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It's like a little apartment space. It's not the little mansion that they had there.
Flashback within a flashback, huh?
Yep. So now, Compress. We come back to current time after what? A 6-minute flashback, I want to say?
Yeah?
And Compress is like, damn, if only I could touch something besides my butt. At least I can scratch this itch. And he pops off a piece of his own flesh. So that way it loosens up the cables so that way he can get out.
I was kind of surprised he can compress his own body.
I'm not surprised, but I kind of didn't consider it before. But he can do it to anything, so it works.
Yeah? To a point?
I mean, I'm more surprised he didn't pass out from the blood loss, because, I mean, he took out a nice chunk of his own body to do this.
Yeah, and he is, like, bleeding profusely because of it.
Nowhere near, though, what I would think he would be bleeding. Also, we have Best Jeanist tightening up the clothing that he's wearing to hold him down. And Compress is like, fuck you, dude, I'm just gonna go streaking, and just starts popping off the rest of his clothing. Which I believe is stupid because Genus could still constrict the fucking hood he's wearing. That's the one thing he doesn't take off yet.
Yeah.
Genus could literally be strangling him right now into unconsciousness.
And we find out that his great-great-grandfather was like a master thief.
Yeah, we have like a Robin Hood kind of thing going on here where we would steal from like the fake heroes and give to the poor and talk about bringing society's morality back and this and that. How true that is kind of up for debate, I guess, considering he only heard it from his own father.
Yeah.
And I believe he says he's the great grandson, or is it great great grandson?
Great-great-grandson.
Yeah, so it's stories. So who knows whether or not it's true, because it's stories passed down at this point by quite a few generations.
But I'm just saying, if Boku no Hero takes place in modern times of, I think it started in 2012-ish?
I think so.
So with his great-great-grandfather, that's 4 generations back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, notice how his grandfather jumped out of his skyscraper in a neon-lit city. So is this story of his great-great-grandfather, like, embellished in a way? Because...
Well, see, that's what I'm wondering when I say how true is it. Is this the vision that Compress has of what his grandfather would be doing nowadays? Or is the story not even true at all and he was just a plain old robber?
Hmm.
And this was just the justification for the grandfather doing horrible things. That would be the take I would assume is the case based on what we've seen so far. And what I assume we're probably never going to see any more of again, unless Compress becomes a bigger pivotal role again, which I doubt. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, because of how long ago it happened, in this case 4 generations, and because who knows what actually happened, we don't have a first-hand account here. We don't have like a newspaper or anything, confirming any of this. This could be an embellished story set to justify someone's reasons for doing so.
Exactly.
Also, I forget when quirks were supposedly started up appearing. He jumped out of a building without any way of like saving himself.
Yeah.
So depending on when this was, if he didn't have a quirk, how the fuck was he going to get out of that fall? Because he looks like he's got nothing on him when he does it.
I don't know.
But yeah, like I said, we don't know how true any of this is. Compress is bleeding profusely, as you said. However, that seems mostly from under the mask for some reason, and not because he tore a hole in his kidneys.
And it seems that Best Genus is, like, also bleeding.
You were saying he was, like, being overstrained by his own quirk here, and I wasn't sure whether or not he still had some leftovers from when Hawks dealt with him.
But just the fact that he kept focusing on tying everybody down.
Well, I mean, Makia's passed out. He technically wouldn't have to hold Makia anymore, really. Other than, I guess, Skeptic, who's still kind of trapped in that little situation.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure.
Anyway, Dabi and Shoto is still going on. Dabi's overpowering him because, what's the point of drawing this out? Endeavor's unconscious. I can't do anything else about it.
Hey, there's no reason to fight anymore. Goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Also, wait, I assume... Hold on. Let me see here a minute. Yeah, he's still wearing pants. You could totally still restrain him with his pants. Restrain the groin. He ain't going to be able to handle that.
Oh, no. That would not be good.
I mean, it would stop him from moving, wouldn't it?
Definitely.
It would definitely bring him to a standstill for a sec, at least. Like, come on, Genus. There are some options here.
But come on, Genus is a hero. That is a villain move, just stopping a villain by their dick.
I mean, I was going to go for the balls. That's where the pain's really at.
Dude, that's like villain talk now.
Look, man. All right. I'm just saying, give him enough pain to be a swift kick in the dick, all right? Swift kick to the balls, all right? Just enough to bring him to his knees, stop him from moving or doing anything stupid, all right? We're in a severely bad situation. Why are you arguing with me? Anything is on the table outside of outright killing them. And Hawks has proven he's willing to go that far, at least.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, Compress slaps Dobby's hand, turns him into a little marble again. And he's like, I'm gonna do the best work, do the great escape. We're gonna make this happen.
And he turns other villains into marbles too.
Yep, he gets Spinner and Shigaraki in there, and did he get someone else, or was it just those three?
I
Who else
did
did he
not
get?
write
Oh,
down.
did he get Skeptic?
I'm not 100% sure.
I forget, did he get Skeptic out of there, or am I wrong? Let me see here. So he gets Dobby. Yada, yada, yada. Does he get Skeptic? I don't think he ever gets Skeptic. But he does get Shigaraki and Spinner out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised he didn't try to get Makia out.
Wouldn't Makia be too big for his compressed balls?
Maybe? I'm not sure what his, I don't want to say range, but what his size limitation is. Because we've seen him toss out giant chunks of buildings, but I think that was in multiple marbles.
Are his marbles basically Pokeballs that they have no size limit? Like, you could fit a whale in one or a mouse in one?
I mean, he can fit a full human in there for sure. Actually, two, because I don't think he and Shigaraki and Spinner were in two separate ones. I think they were in the same one.
Right. Right. Yeah, they were in a single one.
So he was able to combine both of them into a single marble. Hold on. Let me quick scroll to his quirk and find out what the capabilities are. All right, compress. Able to trap anyone or anything, including himself, into the little marbles by compressing them, inflicting no damage done to them at all. Person is trapped within the marbles, temporarily losing their quirks. Oh, that I didn't realize. They lose their quirks, making it very easy for compress to kidnap them. However, being anything impressed with them will remain active. When he compresses Snatch, he is being consumed by Dobby's fire, yada yada yada.
So how can he get out of his own marble if he traps his whole body in one? Because he loses his quirk.
That's true. I don't know. I don't think he's ever put himself into a full marble or anything.
Yeah, but how will he be able to uncompress? Interesting thought.
It doesn't give a size limitation on the wiki.
Oh.
So I don't know what the size limitation of what he can compress is. It says he can make it smaller than a person, but he can clearly make it as big as at least two people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he could have compressed Makia. Maybe Makia was too big to compress. It's hard to say. I think it's fair enough to say he could compress Nomus and put them in there.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, they're bigger than normal people, but if he's able to put two people in one, I would assume a Nomu would be fine. So as to Makia, I have no idea.
Oh,
Hard to say.
And speaking about Nomu, we have a small fight against some Nomu.
With, what's his name?
Mr.
Gigadrill?
Driller?
Mr. Driller?
No,
Master Driller.
Because Mr. Driller is a Namco game.
Why couldn't they just call him Gigadrill as a reference?
I think that would be a bit too on the nose.
Hey, Gigadriller, is that good enough? All
Okay,
right.
maybe.
I think that would have been a cool reference.
It would have.
So yeah, we have like a Sandworm Nomu coming out and trying to attack Burden. Master Driller jumps in front and is like, nah, I got this. Drills the Nomu. Nomu bites him down at the bottom of the torso, around the abdomen area. And as Driller goes in and hits the brain from inside, the thing chomps down and kills him essentially. I don't think he's surviving that.
And Burnin uses her very weird quirk and then starts doing some random crap like she normally does.
She runs and jumps at the thing, but the thing that just killed Master Driller's dead.
I still don't understand her quirk fully.
It's such a weird quirk.
It is!
Like, pulling it out and throwing it or turning it into weapons, fine, because it says she can freely manipulate it. The fact that it lets her fly is the part that's even weirder to me.
Yeah?
I don't understand. Like, those don't gel together.
It's like, oh, what was it? Like, the classic 1940s hero, Amazing Man. He has strength, speed, and the ability to turn into green mist.
Yeah, doesn't make sense. Why are these together?
Yeah, it's like, okay, strength and speed. I can believe them gelling together, but turning into green mist, I'm like, why?
It's so far out of nowhere, it makes no goddamn sense. Like, even when I think about it, to a certain extent, Superman doesn't make sense. Because we've just slammed all this different shit together into one hero. And I think the reason people kind of don't bat an eyelash is because he's been around for so long. Like,
Yeah.
you have heat vision, X-ray vision, super strength speed. You can just kind of fly for some reason. You have ice breath somehow.
Yeah?
I'm sure there's more I'm not knowing off the top of my head, but like, he's just everything in one.
I think at one point he had like microscopic vision and telescopic vision.
Which again, like, doesn't make any goddamn sense. He's supposed to be a Kryptonian, right?
Yeah.
And the idea is like, oh, well, the gravity on his planet was way stronger than Earth's is, so, speed and strength makes sense. You leap over tall buildings in a single bound.
Actually, I think it has to do with our planet having a yellow sun as compared to Krypton, which had a red sun.
I get that as being like the logic as to why he can like be solar powered and shit. But I'm saying, like, from the physical aspects, I could see that as a logical reason of, oh, the gravity was stronger there, and his bodies would just naturally be more used to that and built for that.
Yeah.
Versus our planet, right? The extra crazy powers like frost breath, laser vision, X-ray vision, etc., that I would attribute more to the sun than the physical aspects.
Mm-hmm.
The flight, yeah, sun, probably, whatever, for some reason. Don't know why. Don't know why a different sun suddenly does this to him.
Maybe it's the radiation?
It's the same shit.
The wavelength of the radiation?
I don't think the radiation's wavelength changes. It's just the heat of the sun that makes the color change. Or the heat of the star, I should say. Maybe it's whatever is going on, like what kind of element it's burning, but I don't think the star's color changes based on that. I'm pretty sure the color changes is only based on heat that it's throwing off. So I don't understand the exact logic.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're diving into Superman, which is way too much of a goddamn like mess. Because people look, if Linkara has taught me anything, Superman is fucked up because every single author that got their hands on him was like, I want to do my own thing with them. And they just kind of kept adding powers.
Yeah.
Some of which stuck, others didn't. But my point is, he's been around so long that none of us bat an eyelash at him, even though he doesn't make sense. I'll also point out I'm not a Superman expert, so if you want to bitch at me in the comments, go right ahead.
And we have Izuku waking up. What? Did I pass out? Oh,
I think
there's that pain in my head again.
I think you forgot something here, buddy boy.
What?
Pretty sure this is the first one for all, the original user, literally being like, "Wakey, wakey, ninth user, come on, time to get up, let's go." Just giving him a little wake up call.
Oh,
So yeah,
what's that
big time.
pain in my head? Oh yeah, it was the quirk of the fourth user. Danger sense.
Yeah, so I was curious who the user was when we started seeing the book. I'm like, all right, cool. Which one is it? Because I'm curious. So it's number 4.
Yes.
So that leaves us with what? That leaves us with 2,
3.
3. 5 was Black Whip. 6, we don't know. So we have 3 more left then, yeah?
Yeah.
1, 2, 2, 3, and 6. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know yet. Because as far as we know, All Might doesn't have a quirk. As far as we know, the original guy didn't have any other quirks. We got Float already, and we got Black Whip already,
Yes, and now danger sense.
and now Danger Sense. So three left to go.
I am just. I think I may have said this a few episodes back, but
Wait, hold on. Something just hit me. Was it the 4th user who we didn't know what happened to him?
I think so.
Then this is technically foreshadowed then by that little flashback that quirk got unlocked. That was also going to show up. Now the question is, what the fuck happened that Danger Sense failed him?
Okay. I don't know how Spidey sense works, but if this is anything like that and not any sort of foresight ability, if somebody can work in a way that danger sense isn't picking it up, like if the person doesn't seem threatening, will danger sense pick it up, or can danger sense be blocked by emotions, or
I don't know. I don't think if someone doesn't look dangerous, it's not going to trigger. That would make it kind of pointless in my mind.
I mean, like, malicious, if, like,
So here's my thought, right? No, I still don't buy this. All right, so what I was going to say is if someone was, say, a sleeper agent and it just came out of nowhere, maybe. Like, for instance, if Brainwashing Boy, right? I forget his name, but if he basically used his quirk to tell someone to go about their normal day, do what they normally do, but again, I don't remember if his quirk is this specific about it, but if he told them, hey, if there's an opening, stab the guy in the back, I still think that Danger Sense would work at that point. You'd be as unassuming as possible if it were like, say, your butler or your maid or something, right? This was done to.
mhm.
But I still think you would get that Danger Sense.
Or your grandmother, who is a high dopant.
Yes, or that. I think it would still trigger.
Hmm.
So I'm failing to see a way that it would stop or not trigger. That said, if it's just overloaded or something, maybe like there's so many threats coming at you at once, you can't keep up with it or register it. The other option would be like if you're getting it, but you're just not fast enough to react to it. Those 2 examples would be the only way I could possibly see it kind of failing.
And it seems that it causes Deku pain so much so he passes out again.
It's like a jab in the back of his head, yeah. Although, strangely enough, the second time we see it in this episode, it doesn't make him pass out.
And we have Lemillion punching Compress.
Yes, Lemillion is flying around, doing the thing, being Mr. Cool Man. Also, I just realized something. Seeing the 4th user, he's got like 2 weird scars down his face, down the left side of his face. Don't know what that's from. Be curious to find out if Izuku gets to talk to him Avatar style.
Yeah. And just the fact that Compress was built up like, yes, this is going to be our big escape, and then he just gets punched like almost immediately.
I feel like 6 minutes of this was Compress flashback, and about 3 minutes was actually Compress doing something.
And then about 30 seconds of him being punched, and it's like, welp, uh, that you sure proved yourself.
Oh no, I was including the punch.
Oh, okay.
Like, including the whole getting taken out. I think he's active for about 3 minutes.
And then we have Spinner remembering what Shigaraki was saying about his hand costume.
Hold on a minute. I just got to the point where they mentioned what the two marbles in Spinner's scarf is. Okay, so yeah, he did grab what's his name? Skeptic.
Oh,
So yeah,
okay.
Dobby and Skeptic are both with Spinner right now. So yeah, Spinner remembers the whole thing, and apparently it's not quite what you thought it was.
Oh.
So it seems like, based on what I'm getting out of this, it seems like these hands aren't quite what they seem. It seems like it's some form of like mental, I don't want to say brainwashing, but like mental suppression almost. I don't know whether that's actually what they're doing or if it's more mental conditioning that you would do to somebody to make them more willingly docile to follow what you say.
Mm-hmm. Because Spinner puts the hand on Shigaraki's face, and Shigaraki wakes up as All for One.
All for One is the one in charge this time. Because
And
he says the closer Shigaraki gets to the origin, the stronger his personality inside of him becomes. So I'm super curious what that means
yeah,
exactly, because it's not making him docile. It's not making him like calm so that he can take over. Whatever this is seems to be something that fucks with Shigaraki's consciousness, maybe, or the way he works. The more his heart, here we go. The more his heart embraces the origin, my consciousness that lives within him gets stronger. So I don't know what that means exactly. Is it the
yeah,
more he's focused on his past trauma of his family's death?
maybe?
I'm spitballing here. I'm not putting any money down on any of this as far as like I'm betting my points on this shit. I think, assuming this line is accurate, it's more like the more Shigaraki and his emotions align with mine, the more I'm able to assume control.
Ah, okay.
Doesn't matter what their source is, it's just a matter of are they even. And I'm curious if like the face change is real, because there's a point where we start seeing like the little bits of Shigaraki's face that would be normally visible from the hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's All for One's face, like the no eyes and everything. And I'm like, is that just meant to visually represent that he's in charge right now, or is that physically changing his body?
I would not be surprised if somehow Shigaraki becomes All for One? I don't know.
I do believe I said that earlier in this review series that would happen, or something close to that would
But
happen.
Shigi for one is summoning all the Nomu to him.
I I was gonna correct you, but then I realized you called him Shiggy for one. I kind of like that name. Yeah, Shiggy for one is calling the Nomu so that way they can retreat. Spinner's like, wait, are you telling me to leave my friends behind? And he's like, I'm gonna try and make this sound better than it actually is. And then he's like, I don't get it. What are you saying? And Shiggy for all is just like, I'm telling you to leave them behind. So I don't
It's
know how Toga's gonna meet up with them.
so it does seem like Best Genius is controlling like some kind of thread wire because it's from these massive spools.
Yeah, that's why I said I thought they were cables. That's part of
Hmm.
the reason. But no, they are apparently some kind of like actual fiber.
Even though they're from like humongous spools of thread.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we have Lemillion and Inganium coming in to try and like quickly take out
Shiggy for one.
Shiggy for one. Doesn't go quite well because he kind of blasts them back away with that airburst ability of his. And I don't know, whatever it was. Well, not Lemillion. Lemillion actually he uses that the tendrils to hit him from behind and like stab him. Here's the thing: I'm curious if he stole his quirk there or not, because it is clear that he can do that through those tendrils. When I looked it up, that it says it could do that. It's Shoto and Ingenium that come in and get blasted away. Apparently, it was enough force to knock them both unconscious, which is interesting because Ingenium hasn't taken any damage until now.
Yeah, and Izuku is just chasing after Shiggy for one as he's escaping. Oh, hello, Izuku.
Worthless Izuku.
We'll meet again one day. Not
Yep.
now. Goodbye.
When this body's complete.
And he just like sends some air blasts out of his hand and knocks Izuku down.
Well, yeah, because all he's got is his tongue right now.
So the heroes basically failed?
Overall, yes. However, at the same time, they've definitely taken out a bunch of pieces that All for One or Shiggy would have had access to. I'm curious if Redestro is still around because we have no idea, or if he was taken out too.
And Makia is down for the count.
Makia is down, at least until he can hear One for All again, or Shiggy. He's down. Once he hears that voice again, who's to say? I don't know how they're going to keep him under lock and key until that point. Makia, though, being out is a very big player in that regard. But that said, the Doctor's also out. That I was going to say likely means no more Nomu. However, we still have All for One around who can create them.
Yeah.
Or I guess Shiggy now could technically create them himself. So he could, depending on how long, he could start amassing an army of them again.
Okay, so this series supposedly takes place over the course of 1 year.
I believe you said that in a prior episode, but yes.
But I don't know how much recovery time, Shiggy for one will give himself, but my thought is sometime soon, maybe it's going to be in the next arc, maybe sometime before the final arc, Shiggy for one is going to attempt to break out the true All for One from wherever he's captured, and then something, and then profit.
One, I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, I don't know how he would get the knowledge of where he's restricted and hidden. He'd have to have someone getting him information on the inside.
Yeah, but I don't know what will happen once the true All for One is free.
Well, keep in mind, the original quirk is in Shiggy right now. There's only a copy inside All for One. And the thing is, here's what I'd be seriously curious about. Would the two All for Ones be willing to work together, or would they try to absorb one another?
Ooh.
After all, in this case, it's always about a single person. Who's the one now? Is it the one in the original body that still wants to be in control? Or is it going to be the guy, the quirk in the new body? Because they both have the same consciousness.
Do you think true All for One is somehow linked to Shiggy for one?
Based on what the Doctor said, it doesn't sound like it. Because from the way it sounds, it seems like the quirks themselves have their own, echoes of the personality and memories of the person, kind of like what um, One for All is absorbing, right?
Yeah, the vestiges.
Yeah, it seems like it's similar in that way for all quirks, though nobody's gonna know that other than literally these two or anyone maybe that the doctor has worked on and implanted a quirk in.
And right as he's losing consciousness again, Deku is saying that I'll never forgive Shigaraki, but when I was inside his world, there was part of him that looked like he needed to be saved.
It looked like he was asking to be saved. Is the wording I got
Okay.
out of that? Um, Again, whether or not that's accurate,
And
depending on where
whether
you're
or
looking.
not I just wrote something down in my notes and not copied it word for word.
Hmm.
So,
Which given
yeah.
the Izuku thing, kind of makes sense.
So, the heroes are battered, bruised, lots of great heroes probably died in the mansion raid,
Here's my
and
question,
uh,
right? Do you think now that we have confirmed Eri is able to rewind things appropriately now, do you think that's what's going to be necessary to bring Izuku back to full health again?
yes.
That's kind of where I'm at, considering what was warned to us before about pushing his body too far. If he breaks his arms like a couple more times the way he was going before, he wouldn't be able to use them anymore. Um, Ares kind of the solution to all of this by just, I'm gonna rewind you back to the point where you could use them. And now that she's had her training and has more or less full control over it, she's fully capable of it, I would say. And even if not, so long as those deleter rounds didn't fully get into Eraserhead, he can shut it off at any point.
Yeah. I'm still guessing him chopping off his leg almost instantly when he was shot. I'm still saying there's his quirk is still existent.
It could be. It's a kind of a toss up in my mind because it's just a matter of was he fast enough to do that?
So yeah, next time will be the aftermath of this.
Yeah, time to pick up the broken pieces. Who survived and who didn't?
Yeah, because
Who was captured and who got away?
I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of heroes who died.
Oh yeah, Master Driller's dead.
Even at the mansion raid.
Yeah, like I said, I'm super curious about whether or not we get Redestro got away.
Yeah, because they showed Mount Lady and she's like passed out with like a bunch of
Trees and shit piercing her. Yeah,
yeah, so
whether or not Midnight is dead is kind of up in the air.
yeah, so um I did see that there will be no new episode next week because next week will be New Year's Eve because it's on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably some New Year's stuff on instead.
Yeah, probably.
So come back in 2 weeks with us when we will discuss the second half of Boku no Hero Academia Season 6.
And we see where we go from here.
Yeah, so until then, we'll catch everybody later.
Bye bye.